Sairam, dear brothers and sisters. It was a beautiful prayer by our sisters from Johor. We will now move on to the satsang by Sister Deepa Singh. Sister Deepa Singh is the National Country President for the Satya Sai Organization of Thailand. Sister Deepa came into the Sai fold at the age of 6, and when she was 7, her home was one of the centers in Kolkata. Her parents are also very devoted devotees to Swami. Now let's welcome Sister Deepa Singh to start a satsang on God's grace. Sairam, sister.
Sai Ram. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk about Swami's grace. Thanks, Sister Nalini, and thanks all the sisters. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Once Baba asked the group of students, what is the rarest phenomena to happen in one's life? Many tried many kind of answers, and many told moksha also, but Baba told no. Everyone can get moksha. If not this birth, maybe after few births. That is our goal. All will get it. What was Baba's answer? He told, to be born at the time when God is also walking on the earth. So, sharing the earth at the same time when God incarnated as human, also walking on the earth. The second number he told, there are so many people walking on the earth, all will not know about God. So, if we know about God, we know that Sai Baba is born and he is walking on the earth. Just know about him. That itself is the second rarest phenomena. And the third, if we believe that he is God. And number four, if we are working in his mission. So imagine, brothers and sisters, we are so fortunate that we have the chance of working in his mission. We should not lose this chance. We should not take it very light. We are very, very, very fortunate. In Gita Vahini, Baba writes that Krishna says to Arjun, deposit your mind and intellect to me. And if you find it very difficult, because mind is just jumping around here and there, then at least you surrender your ego to me. Whatever you do, think God is doing, not you. And if you find this also very difficult, then you just surrender all the fruit of your action to me. So kind the God always is. He gives so many opportunities, so many steps. If you cannot do this, do this. You cannot do that. So the easiest path, what he showed is just surrender all the fruits of all the actions to God. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shujaha. Abandon all the duties, just surrender to me. I will clean away, wash away all your sins. I will liberate you. Don't worry. So when God says, abandon all your duties, what a beautiful thing. That when you are doing your duty, don't think we are doing. It's God in me who is doing this. And if we cannot think that also, at least we surrender all the fruits of our action to God. So simple way to get his grace. When suppose we are carrying 2000 rupees coin in our on our head. It will be so heavy to walk with that. But if we surrender to God, that 2000 rupees coin, so big weight, we surrender to God, what He do? He will return it with one single note of 2000 rupees, or His grace can make it just not even carrying that 2000 rupees also. The note also we don't have to carry if His grace is there. So that is the devotion, benefit of devotion and benefit of grace. If benefit of devotion, there He will give us a 2000 rupee note, currency note to carry. Benefit of grace is even that we don't have to carry. So imagine when we have His grace, we are so fortunate, so lucky. Once there was a king who never believed God. So at night he was walking in the kingdom to see what people say about him, how people are happy or unhappy, all that. So while walking, he saw one beggar, and that beggar was telling that if I have king's grace, I'll be the happiest person, I'll be the richest person. Only I have to have king's grace on me. King felt very happy that, oh, he's talking about me. Then king walked further. There was another poor, another beggar. And what this beggar was saying, if I have God's grace, I can be the happiest person in the life. King didn't like that. King came back to the palace. He asked his minister, he told his minister that what happened during his visit to the kingdom. And minister told, the person who says that God's grace is the biggest and he can be happiest if he has God's grace, that is the correct thing. But king didn't agree to it. King told, if I shower my grace on someone, I can give him so much that he'll be the happiest. So they decided, okay, let us test. So next day they announced all the poor, all the beggars of the kingdom, please come to the palace. King will give everything to all what they need. And then in the morning, king started giving to all the beggars, all the poor who were in the queue. But king prepared something very special for the beggar who was saying the king's grace is the biggest. And what was that? In a huge pumpkin, he filled with the gold, diamond, pearls, all the those things, and he kept it ready, the huge pumpkin, kept it ready for that particular beggar. When in the line, he noticed that beggar, and when that beggar's turn come, then he signaled the minister to get that huge pumpkin, and he gave that one to that particular beggar. That night again, king was roaming around in the kingdom, and he saw that beggar still sitting on the road and begging. So king went to him and told that, didn't you go today morning to get the stuff from the king? King was distributing to all the beggars and all the poor. And the beggar says, yes, I did go. But what could I get in one pumpkin? So I just sold it for 4 annas. So king thought, really, my grace didn't work, seems. And then he walked further down, and he saw 4 people are carrying the palanquin, and the one man is seated inside. When he went closer, he saw this is the same man who was saying that God's grace is the biggest, and I'll be happiest if I have God's grace. So king went close to him and told, aren't you the same person last night you were begging on the road? And beggar says, yes. Told, what happened in a day that you became so rich? And he told, oh, it's all my God's grace. God has given me so much. I just bought a pumpkin for 4 anna, and inside the pumpkin, so much precious stones, so much things were there that I became super wealthy in just one day. So God's grace can do anything. And then king came back to the uh, palace and he realized, yes, God's grace is the biggest in the world. Nothing can come on its way if we have God's grace. For getting God's grace, what we have to do? First thing, we have to please God. We have to do everything what Swami likes us to do. We should watch our thought, our word, our deed, whether we are following his direction, whether we are doing things according to his will. And if God wills, all the actions can be nullified, all the sins can be washed out. And if God wills to forgive, nothing can stand on its way. Nam Smaran, Baba says Nam Smaran. Though it looked very small, just Om Sri Sai Ram. Where it will take us, how long I can chant Om Sri Sai Ram. Now so wonderfully you all chanted beautiful name of Swami. The benefit of this small name is so big. It's like a small raft. You don't need huge ship to cross the ocean of Sansar. Just a small raft is enough. So we all have the small raft of the name of Swami. And we are seated there and we are just going smoothly to see him, to be with him. Baba says, our mouth is the gateway of the body. So, if we keep the lantern of the Nam Smaran at the entrance of our body, it will shed light inside us, within us, and because it is the entrance, it will shed the light outside us also. So chanting the name not only is good for us, we are doing a kind of selfless service by chanting the name. It's going around everywhere. That lantern is showing way to so many of us also. So if all Sai devotee in the whole world, if we take this thing to Nam Smaran with pure heart, definitely the whole world will transform. We all will be very happy and very blissful. Says Yadvar Yaru was a very devoted person, and he was a very big merchant, diamond merchant. So, and before he will start his journey with the diamond and all carrying, he will be carry so much diamond with him because he was a diamond merchant. So before he will leave the house, he will just pray to God that be with me. On the way, he will keep chanting God's name when he's going for his business. That was his job. Many robbers, they noticed that Yadvar Yaru, he is taking so much diamond with him and walking every day. So they decided that they should take away from him. They should rob him. But whenever they try to rob him, they will see that the bodyguard on the horse is protecting him. So they were scared. One day they followed Yadvar Yaru till his home. And then they noticed that once he entered the house, then there were no horse, no bodyguard. So they knocked at the door and asked Yadvar Yaru that, do you have bodyguard who protects you all the time? And he told, no, I don't have any bodyguard. Then he says, when you go for your business in the morning, don't you have two bodyguards with the horses? They are protecting you, always going with you. He told, I don't have any horses. I don't have any bodyguard. And then those robbers fell at the feet of that person, Yadvar Yaru, because they realized that that was God who was protecting him. And even Yadvar Yaru, when he learned about that, he himself thought, oh my God, God, you are protecting me all the time. Just I'm taking your name. And for that reason, and then he, all of a sudden, the wisdom dawned on him and he thought, oh no, this life is not permanent. Why I'm doing all this just to get money and all that? Why don't I devote all my time to God? So he decided to do that, and he devoted all his time to God. So one day what happened was, he and his wife, they didn't get proper food for 1-2 days. So he went to his prayer room. As usual, what he used to just sit near the God. He sat near the God. He opened Gita book, and the shloka came was, Ananyas chintayanto ma ye jana pariyupasate tesam nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Who always think of me, whose mind is always absorbed in me, who is totally on me, dependent on me. I protect that devotee. I look after his belongings. I preserve what he has. I give what they need. But somehow that day Yadvaryaru was in very anger mood. He thought, how God is saying that, but he is not looking after my need. He got very upset. He dipped his pen in the red ink and crossed out that sloka 3 times with the full force and with full anger. Then he took his bowl of begging and went out. Brothers and sisters, you know what happened? As he went out, 2 young boys, around 12 or 14 years old, 2 young boys knocked at the door. Wife opened the door. One was carrying the sack, huge sack of the rice on his back. The other one was carrying the huge sack of different grocery, different provision, what a household will need. Wife, and they told wife, the Yadvaryaru's wife, that this all things for you. She told, no, I think by mistake you have come here. Nobody can send us all these things. So please go, it doesn't belong to us. But then these 2 boys says, no ma, it is for you only. So they bend down and keep both the sack of rice and the sack of other provision. The boy who was carrying the sack of rice, the huge bag, huge sack, when he bent down, Yadvaryaru's wife noticed 3 bleeding gash on his back. He felt so sad. She told, oh boy, you are so charming. Who hit you so badly? Who has beaten you? And boy, as he kept the bag and looked up into the eyes of the wife of the son, he says, it's your husband who did this to me. And son's wife couldn't believe. He told, what? I never thought my husband can be so cruel. And she told, just wait. I will clean your wound. But then those boys told, we don't have time. They just vanished in the fraction of a second. Then the Sant comes, Yadvaryaru comes, and wife says that somebody delivered so much stuff, provision to us, and he was wondering, who can it be? Who gave so much to us? We never know that who gave. But then wife told, and the boy who came to deliver, one of them had 3 bleeding gash on the back, and it seems you did that to him. How can you be so cruel? I don't understand. You are so devoted to God. How can you beat someone so badly? And the son says, how can I beat? I never met any boy. I never beaten any boy. What you are talking about? And he just didn't know what to do. He just went to again in front of his God in the altar, and he again opened the Bhagavad Gita book. Again, the same shloka comes where he striked out, and he sees that 3 times with the red ink, how badly, with so much anger, he crossed out the sloka. And he told, oh God, I crossed out your word. I didn't mean to beat you with these things. Please forgive me. I should never cross out your word. But I really feel very sad that you came and I couldn't have your darshan. So God's words are so important, so powerful. Whatever Baba says us to do, it's so much powerful. We have to believe in that those words. We have to follow those words. We have to do according to his words. So we have to have faith when Baba says, why fear when I am here? We should not fear anything. We should live up to his command. That's all. Then he says, you look to me, I look to you. We only have to look at him. And definitely, God is there. Swami is there to look at each one of us, to bless each one of us. In the ladder, faith is the foundation, love is the topmost part of the ladder. So we have to have that faith and the love to reach him, to go up, to reach him. Without faith, we cannot reach him. Without love, we cannot reach him. And unconditional love for God is devotion. So we have to have that devotion, that unconditional love for God. May anything happen, we should not leave him. We should still hold on to his faith. That is devotion. And once we are devoted, we know about Mirabai, Draupadi, Shabari, Tulsidas, Ramdas, Kabir, Surdas, so many of them, we just name it. What qualities they had, what degrees they had, nothing. The quality what they have was the unconditional love for God, devotion towards Swami, towards the God. That's all. To get his grace, that is enough to have devotion to him, to have unconditional love toward him. When we want to contact someone nowadays, we all have mobile, right? And we want to call. We want to contact someone. We have to dial the correct number. If we don't dial the correct number, we cannot reach that person. So we dial the correct number, we reach that person, we contact that person. What Baba says, how can we contact Baba? Though he is not physically here, but still, he is in all of us, our heart. But how to contact him? It's not easy. It doesn't seem to be easy. We try so many answers we want. Baba, please guide, please say. Many times we feel, oh, Baba is not answering. Baba has given 4 directives. He says, if you follow these 4 directives, you will sanctify your life, you will purify your mind, and you can contact me who is seated within yourself. What are those 4 directives? Tyajya durjana sansargam. Leave the bad company. What are the bad company? Who are the bad people? Who are the bad company? It's not outside us. It's within us. We have to see whether we have desire, whether we have anger, whether we have greed, we have lust, we have attachment, we have jealous, we have anger. We have all these things within us. We have to leave that. And gradually we will success. We cannot say that we are trying, but still I get angry. And I know with all of us it is happening. We are trying, but still we have little bit of negativity. We all have. We are trying our best that we should not be having anger towards others, but still sometimes something comes up, we get angry. But again, we should remind ourselves, no, Swami, please help me coming out of it. I don't want this. I want to Tyajya durjana sansargam. I want to leave all this bad thing from me. I want to leave this bad company. Please remove all this negativity from me. Second directive, bhaja sadhu samagamam. Have good company. What are good company? Within ourselves, we have Swami seated. So think of him as often as you can. Think of him. Contemplate on him. Concentrate on him. As often as we can. Listen to his discourse. Have like what you all had wonderfully, that Laksharchana. Have Laksharchana. Keep chanting his name. This is Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam. Number 3 directive. Kuru punyam ahoratram. Keep doing good deeds day and night. And that will become very easy if we master those two directives. Then the third one comes out very easy, because we will not harm anyone, we will not do anything wrong. So we keep doing good through our thought, word, and deed throughout the day. And number 4, smara nityam anityam. Just keep concentrating what is permanent, what is not permanent. This body is not permanent. It has to go one day. What is permanent is God within me. So concentrate on that, that this is real. God is real, not the body, not the mind, not the intellect. These all will go away. These all are kshanikam. For time being, it is there. Momentary. Time being, it is there. Like a bubble, a water bubble. It will just burst anytime. But God within me, that is nityam. That is permanent. So, as Baba says, we always have to say, I am God. I am Akhanda Parabrahma. I am Satchidananda. Grief and anxiety cannot affect me. Fear cannot enter me. We have to keep reminding ourselves all these things. And then we can follow these 4 directives very easily in our life. And once we try, Baba says, you take 1 step towards me, I'll take 100 steps toward you. Just imagine we are taking 1 step and he's taking 100 steps. Just being with us, with 1 step also we try. So every day, as soon as we wake up, if we think of Swami, we think of these 4 directives, we think of what Baba says, I'm God, I'm Akhanda Parabrahma, keep reminding ourselves, I'm Satchidananda. Grief and anxiety cannot affect me, fear cannot enter me. Keep reminding ourselves in the morning first, get up with this feeling, and throughout the day, whenever some negativity come in us, remind ourselves, we are not this body, we are pure Atma, we are pure consciousness, we are God, we are Satchidananda. We cannot have negativity. So, as Baba says that you don't go near the fire and you say the fire doesn't have warmth. So we don't go near the God, we don't follow his directive, and then we say that God doesn't shower his grace. That is wrong. So these 4 directive actually told by Baba, and Baba says, when you don't follow these directives in your life, you don't want to transform your life to be a better person, and then you claim that God is not showering his grace, I'm going through so much suffering, my life is full of suffering, but Swami is not answering to my prayers, Swami is not showering his grace. That is wrong. Swami has to decide that whether we are devotee of Swami or not. Swami says, you cannot claim to be a devotee. I have to accept you as a devotee. So when we follow these 4 directives in our lives, when we keep reminding ourselves, we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not the intellect, we are not the senses. I'm God, I'm Akhanda Parabrahma, I'm Satchidananda. All these we keep reminding ourselves. Then, when God, Swami, accepts us as his devotee, definitely the grace will dawn on us. Earlier also I spoke about benefit of devotion and benefit of bhakti. So benefit of devotion and benefit of grace. So suppose we have 2000 rupees note that is totally torn, and according to India's rule, nobody will accept fully torn note. You cannot exchange it. You cannot buy anything with that note. So what we can do is walk to the Reserve Bank of India, give them that torn note, and they will replace with the new note. So if at this moment also, if I feel that Swami, I have done so many mistakes, so many wrong deeds, knowingly or unknowingly throughout my life, this life, I don't know about my previous life, what I have done. Swami, I surrender to you. Please accept me. Please wash all my sins. Please make me a new person. And definitely, Swami, with all his grace, accept us whatever condition we give. Like how Reserve Bank accepts the tone note, whatever condition we give. Swami accepts us whatever our condition is. And he makes us new. He helps us having good thought, good word, good deeds. But our surrender should be from our heart, not only from the body, from our heart. We should surrender to him. And then he looks after our need. He showers his grace on us. So in the when we have benefit of devotion, then we will be going through the our consequences of our action. We may be going through the pain, but what happens, like suppose you are in too much pain, what doctor will give? They will give sedative. So the devotion is like sedative. It's given, though you are going through it, you are not feeling it. But the benefit of grace is you don't have to go through it also. He will burn all. It's kind of operation. He will remove that part. Like in a bottle of medicine, it's written expired in 2020. So this year, it just expired. It will not have any effect. Same way, this body is bottle and all our karmas are like medicine. When we surrender to him, when we follow his directive, then all the karma, all the medicine will be expired. Nothing can affect us. We have to have that much faith. If when it is raining outside, suppose it's raining outside and we keep our vessel upside down, and we cannot collect a drop of water also because we kept vessel upside down. We cannot say that there is no rain. The same way, God's grace is raining, showering in plenty, abundance. We have to keep our heart straight, open. And the size of the vessel depends how much grace we can accumulate. So keep making the size of our vessel of the heart bigger and bigger by faith, by love, by following 4 directives, by reminding ourselves, I'm God, I'm Akhanda Parabrahma, I'm Satchidananda. So all these things Baba already taught us. Only thing, what is our duty is to follow his teaching. To get his grace, we need to follow his teaching. We have to keep our heart open. So when the rain is showering everywhere, we are surrounded by the shower of grace. His grace is everywhere. We all are, who all are here, we all are surrounded by his grace, the shower of his grace. Just open up, open up, open up, and make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and collect more and more and more, and feel blissful, feel happy. Now, how to know that we are having his grace? Can we judge ourselves? Yes. Once Baba told this also to few students when he asked, someone asked Baba, how I will know that we are having your grace? What Baba told? When without any effort, his name comes on our lip, on our mouth. Without any effort, his thoughts comes in our mind. And without any efforts, his form comes in our heart. Then we know we have his grace. So keep chanting his name, keep contemplating on his form, keep thinking of his Leela. So one day it will happen that we don't have to take any effort. We don't have to think. It will just dawn on us. It will just come on its own without any effort. His name will be going on. We don't even know that we are chanting his name. It will just go on. We don't even think that we are thinking of him, but his thought will be going on in our mind. We will not even take any effort to feel his image in our heart, but we can feel, without any effort, we can see his image in our heart. That is his grace. So brothers and sisters, let us all work together. Let us all pray to Swami that we are taking steps towards him. we will follow all the 4 directives what he told. We will have lots of love, unconditional love towards him. We'll have 100% unshakable faith on him. We always remind him, I am God, I am Akhanda Parabrahma, I am Satchidananda, I am not this body. Let us all pray together and get his plentiful grace. May his grace shower on us. May all of us can collect lots and lots of his grace. Jai Sai Ram.